Welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you news from SCE, a fire on East Ridgecrest Boulevard, City Council news, parade news, gas prices, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Thanks for joining us for the news. I'm Tom Wicknick. Here's news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. Yesterday, about 700 residents in the Ridgecrest Heights area suffered a power outage. It happened at about 8:30 a.m. The cause was unknown. SCE is projecting a power restoration by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Also, the Kern County Fire Department continues to be very busy lately. Yesterday, there was a field brush fire right across from the KZGN-TV studios and Guns for Us. The fire was in the 400 block of East Ridgecrest Boulevard. The Kern County Fire Department responded quickly. A fairly large area was burned. The fire was quickly extinguished and no structures were burnt. Well, this Wednesday, the City Council will hold their regular meeting. Here's an overview of the agenda. For presentations, the Council will present a proclamation to the Daughters of the American Revolution, Panamint Springs chapter. They'll be recognizing September 17th through 23rd, 2015 as Constitution Week. Next, there will be a presentation from the City of Ridgecrest Economic Development Program Director, Gary Parsons. On the consent calendar, the Council will take up authorization to award a construction contract to Griffith Company for the construction of street improvements to existing roadways, which include Richmond Road between Upjohn and East Ridgecrest Boulevard, Bowman Road between Downs and Primrose, and West Raider between Nevada Court and South Downs. The cost of this contract is just over $900,000. Then they'll consider awarding a design and construction management contract to Wildan Engineering for CDBG project for ADA ramps at various intersections. The project will consist of the construction of curb return ramps in the area bound by Balsam Street, Costa Street, North Helena Street, and Station Street. It is proposed to design and construct 15 curb ramps within the location to bring them up to ADA compliance. The estimated cost for this contract is $15,000. Next, they'll consider authorizing the filing of an application for Regional Surface Transportation Project funds in the amount of almost $670,000. The funding will be committing the necessary local match and stating the assurance to complete the project by the City of Ridgecrest. This would be for the widening of Down Street between Ridgecrest Boulevard and Upjohn from 2 lanes to 4 lanes. Then they'll consider authorizing the filing of an application for congestion mitigation air quality funding. This would commit the necessary local match and state the assurance to complete the project by the City of Ridgecrest. The application will be for over $1 million in funding for 3 projects. Paving Sunland Street, a dirt road, from Bowman Road to Dolphin Avenue. Paving the dirt road on the north half of Tamarisk between Inyo Street and Capehart Court. Paving the shoulder on the south side of West Raider Avenue from Down Street to Sunset. In the next segment of the meeting, Council will discuss these items. First, they'll consider approving a resolution instating a hiring freeze for the remainder of fiscal year 2015-16. At the last regular council meeting, the City Council approved an amended budget for the current fiscal year. The amendment was necessary to reduce expenditures in order to balance the budget. In conjunction with the approval, the Council recommended that an immediate hiring freeze be implemented. The Council directed staff to return with a resolution stipulating the hiring freeze. The resolution provides for the prohibition of new hires and filling current vacant general fund positions during the remainder of this fiscal year. Any essential position vacancies occurring during the freeze may be filled subject to the review and approval of the City Manager. Then they'll consider approving the expenditure of Parks and Recreation impact fees for capital improvements to Leroy Jackson Park in the amount of $32,000. This is to repair an existing water well in the park. Next, they'll consider approving a resolution for the reallocation of $350,000 of tax allocation bond funds from the Economic Development allocation to Public Works street improvements. This is necessary as the Council did budget shifts at their last meeting to cover a $750,000 budget deficit. Then they'll consider a resolution approving a redevelopment agency payment plan for 2015 and 16. This is a state-required plan the City has to provide showing how projects that would have been paid for by the now defunct RDA are being paid for by the successor agency. In the discussion and other action items part of the agenda, the Council will hold a discussion considering changing the agenda format for City Council meetings. At the last council meeting, council members indicated a concern regarding the placement of certain actions on the agenda. Council further requested that this concern be brought back for discussion. This item allows the council to discuss the current agenda format, consider appropriate changes, and revise the format to address any concerns. The main concern pointed out by Mayor Breeden was that she didn't like that the council comment was at the end of the meeting. This is when the council often makes replies to people's comments and makes announcements as to things going on. The mayor asked that the council consider moving this section to the beginning of the meeting. And the final agenda item is an item handled at the last meeting and now brought back for further discussion. The mayor added the potential funding of $8,000 to the Petroglyph Festival, plus in-kind donations. At the last meeting, the council approved the in-kind donation, but did not approve the $8,000 in cash. The city budgeted $10,000 for community outreach events. The council recently committed $2,000 of the original $10,000 to be used for the upcoming USO event. RACVB is requesting that the remaining $8,000 be allocated for the Petroglyph Rock Art Festival, along with in-kind services including the use of Kerr-McGee Center facilities, traffic control, and crowd control. So they'll discuss this again on Wednesday. Stay tuned for news about the Parade of 1,000 Flags when we come back. Welcome back. In local parade news, remember that this Saturday at 9 a.m. there will be the Parade of 1,000 Flags. This parade is in remembrance of the attacks on the Twin Towers in New York on September 11, 2001. It has been announced that Congressman Kevin McCarthy will serve as Grand Marshal and give a speech at Freedom Park. The parade route starts at the bowling alley on South China Lake Boulevard. Flag bearers should be there at 8:30 a.m. The parade leaves there at 9 a.m. and goes north along China Lake Boulevard and then turns into the City Hall Center and then into Freedom Park. If anyone still wants to volunteer to carry a flag, call the News Review right away. Call them at 760-371-4301. All the flags will be posted for 1 week. In conjunction with this parade, there is on display at the Kerr-McGee Center the Remembrance of the Fallen Wall. This wall is in recognition of all the fallen soldiers from the state of California since 9/11. Remembering Our Fallen will be on display starting today to September 12th at the Kerr-McGee Center on 100 East California in Ridgecrest. Hours are Monday through Friday, 11 to 9 p.m., Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. There's no admission charge. Thanks to Operation Family Fund for financially sponsoring the exhibit to bring it to Ridgecrest, as well as the City of Ridgecrest for donating the center for the exhibit. Plus, next Friday, September 11th, there will be a candlelight vigil held at dusk in Freedom Park. This is a moving service honoring those lost. And this is the actual day the attack happened. So set this on your calendar. Plan on attending the parade or stop by with the family anytime next week to observe what Freedom Park looks like with 1,000 flags blowing in the breeze. It truly is inspiring. In a city poll we are running at KZGN, last week we reported that the Planning Commission approved and forwarded to the City Council a change to the Ridgecrest Municipal Code that would allow certain farm animals like fowl and chickens in the smallest residential lots in Ridgecrest. Mayor Breeden has requested inputs from the people about this proposal. If you'd like to comment on this, we have added a thread to the KZGN News Discussion Facebook group for you to make your comments. Just sign into Facebook and search for the KZGN Discussion Group, or just let the mayor or any council member know your thoughts on chickens in residential neighborhoods. In news from the Kern County Sheriff's Department, they provide this report. Last Thursday, about 2:25 p.m., a Kern County Sheriff's Office patrol deputy assigned to the Kern Valley substation began following a vehicle he believed had been stolen in the area on August 19th. As the deputy followed the vehicle north on Highway 155 near the French Gulch Marina, the vehicle pulled over into a turnout north of the French Gulch campground. The deputy, who had not activated his emergency lights or siren, pulled in behind the vehicle to attempt to read the license plate number to determine if it was the vehicle that had been reported stolen. The driver of the vehicle, later identified as 52-year-old Jack Robertson, made a U-turn in the vehicle and began driving south on Highway 155. As the vehicle made the U-turn, the deputy was able to read the last 3 digits of the license plate, which matched the last 3 digits of the stolen vehicle. The deputy was unable to confirm if the vehicle was the stolen vehicle at that point, so he did not activate his emergency lights and siren. The deputy briefly lost sight of the vehicle when it entered a curve in the roadway as it continued south. The deputy made a U-turn and continued following the vehicle, which began driving at a high rate of speed. The deputy then activated his emergency lights and siren as the vehicle being driven by Robertson drove south about a quarter mile ahead of the deputy at speeds of between 85 to 90 miles per hour. As the deputy attempted to catch up to Robertson near the French Gulch Bridge, he observed Robertson appear to lose control of the vehicle, which began swerving from side to side. The deputy then observed the vehicle flip 5 to 6 times. As a result of the traffic accident, Robertson was ejected from the vehicle. The deputy administered CPR and Robertson was transported to Kern Valley Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. It was determined the vehicle Robertson had been operating was the vehicle which had been reported stolen on August 19th. The California Highway Patrol is investigating the traffic accident. It's amazing how people think they can outrun police. That almost never works. Now in KZGN's continuous effort to provide news and information to Vastor, here are today's gas prices for Ridgecrest and some surrounding areas. Since my last report on Friday, gas prices continue a slow decrease. As of this morning, Ridgecrest is ranging from $3.23 to $3.69. Lancaster from $3.24 to $3.79. The LA Valley area from $3.27 to $3.49. In the Bishop area, $3.72 to $3.89. We have 3 stations coming in at the $3.23 figure and 1 station at $3.24 amount. Tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for updates. We at KZGN always suggest you shop locally to support our local economy. Remember, when you pay sales tax out of town, you are helping those cities pave their streets instead of here. Now stay tuned for weather and sports when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Keith for the weather.
Thank you, Tom. Tropical moisture associated with the remnants of Tropical Storm Erica will produce heavy rain across parts of Florida, creating the potential for flash flooding. Flash flood watches and warnings are in effect for parts of that state. Temperatures across the nation. Carolinas came in at 77, Georgia 77, Arkansas 93, Colorado 81, Arizona 97, and Los Angeles at 75. And for our forecast here in the IWV, tonight, mostly clear with a low around 67, southwest wind, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tuesday, sunny with a high near 98, southwest wind, 5 miles per hour. Tuesday night, partly cloudy with a low around 67, southwest wind, 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 97, south-southwest wind, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday night, mostly clear with a low around 65, west-southwest wind, 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. Thursday, sunny with a high near 94, southwest wind, 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. Thursday night, mostly clear with a low around 65, southwest wind, 10 to 20 miles per hour with gusts as high as 25. On Friday, sunny with a high near 94, south-southwest wind, 10 miles per hour. And our record high was set back in 1998 at a temperature of 109 degrees. The low was set in 1999 at 55 degrees. And that is your weather for the IWV. Now back to Tom and the rest of the KZGN News.
Thanks, Keith. Let's go to Tom Eck with sports.
And a very pleasant Monday afternoon to everyone. Let's start with Burroughs football. Burroughs played extremely well Friday night. They came up a little bit short, 14-6 the final score, against what usually is one of the powerhouses in Division 2A, the Palmdale Falcons. Palmdale full of athletes, some very good size. The last couple years have defeated Burroughs rather easily, but not this year. Burroughs hung in until the end. It was a one-possession game throughout. The game was tied at 6 at halftime. And then they took the opening kickoff. Richard Newton for Palmdale. He raced 80 yards for a touchdown. They had a 2-point conversion that I thought was controversial. I didn't even think he got in. I think the knee was down first as he stretched his hand out, the quarterback for Palmdale. However, the officials gave him the 2 points and the final score 14-6. It was a well-officiated game. The crowd was well-behaved, good crowd on hand, and I thought really for game number 1, not a lot of mistakes, only 1 turnover for each team. I think Todd Mather has to be very, very happy with some of the things that they did. They look very, very good. And, they have a very good young quarterback in Austin Griffin, the sophomore. He looked like he's a good field general. Mike McKinney and also Mike Savatasi had some good carries at running back. And Makai Ayers, a couple nice catches along with Brandon Tate. I think it's going to be an exciting year for Burroughs. Now, the JV team, football team, they won their game on Friday, and the freshman football team for Burroughs lost their game in a close game on Thursday to Palmdale. Should also add that Fidel Martinez had 2 field goals. He is a kicking sensation. Todd Mather thinks he's one of the best kickers in all of the high desert region area. That's a lot of land that encompasses. Okay, next Friday night, Tehachapi up on the mountain, and we'll have more about that as the week goes. Let's switch over to baseball. In Major League Baseball, the Angels had a tough weekend in Ohio. They get swept by Cleveland, and they got beat 9-2 on Sunday. The Angels will play in Oakland tonight, and the Angels have kind of put themselves, I won't say dire straits, but they're going to make it hard for themselves if they don't get going here. They only got a month left as we start the last day of August tonight, and you have 4 weeks after that, and the first 3 days of October, and then the season is over. Now, Minnesota beat Houston, so Houston is 6.5 over the Angels, but between the Angels and Houston are the Texas Rangers, who are all of a sudden in the limelight. They went into Baltimore this week, and they swept the Orioles. They are now only 3 games back of Houston. The wild card situation is exactly that in the American League. You've got about 5 teams, maybe 6 teams even, vying for 2 spots. Should be very interesting if you're a baseball fan and you like a close race. Another close race is the American League East. The Yankees win again. They sweep Atlanta. Boy, Atlanta 20 games under 500. And Toronto wins again. They sweep Detroit. Detroit just fallen out of oblivion. Toronto now a game and a half in the lead in the American League East. The Yankees right now would have to settle for a wild card. Meanwhile, the National League East, Washington wins 7-4 over Miami on Sunday, and the Mets beat the Boston Red Sox 5-4. The Mets won only one of the 3 games, so the lead now is 5 games in the East with the Mets ahead of that one. Now, the wild card is not going to come from the East, so you have to win that division to get in the playoffs. Your wild card will be from the Central with Pittsburgh 25 games over 500, and the St. Louis Cardinals atop the division, the best record in baseball. Then you got the Cubs, who had a tough weekend in L.A., lost 2 of 3, but the Cubs right now would be the other wild card team. Other winners on Sunday: San Diego, Milwaukee, Colorado, Tampa Bay, and the White Sox. The Dodgers will play San Francisco tonight at home, 3-game series. The Giants 4 games behind the Dodgers. And Japan has won the Little League World Series. They defeated a very good team from Pennsylvania, 19-11. California got beat in the semifinal game for the America teams. They lost to Pearland, Texas in extra innings. And that's your sports for this Monday afternoon. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. Office of KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. And stay with us for Ridgecrest Talk coming up next. And check out this real short video of an amazing air show stunt.